Ndị be anyị ekeneni m unu ọzọ na n'ụbọchị uhuruchi tata. Daalụ ndị nnekwu unu si wee na-esonyere anyị n'ihe anyị na-eme n'ụbọchị nke taa. Tata bụkwa 30th of December 2023. Dịka o si dị, anyị kwuru unu nkwa na gị na-ewetara unu update ọbụla drọpụ gbasịta maka ife na-emenụ na gbasịta maka nwụrụ a na-azọ. Ya bụ ife ka anyị kwuru unu nkwa ya. Then anyị wetara unu ozi from TVC News, journalist handout. Ọ ihe mere dị nji chọọ ka ntinyere unu ka ntinyere unu ya bụ ife ka unu ga ya bụ ife ka unu kwuo efu unu chere. 2023 review House of Reps Committee gee ntị ka ihe ife ha kwuru gbasịta maka the only option a ga-eji release ya Maazị Nnamdi Kanu. One of the person kwuru ya mana achọrọ m ikwu ya, nchọkwa unu ga ya bụ ife so that unu wee contribute your comment gbasịta maka ife okwu n'ime akwụkwọ a. Ọ si the only option ọ ga-eji wee stand there for the release of the indigenous people of Biafra leader nke bụ Maazị Nnamdi Kanu. N'ọsọsọ ma o mere ihe a ma ọ na ndị Igbo mere ihe a, nọ ya by court, anything mgbe ọbụla bụ court, ife ọbụla court ugwu wee release ya. So ga ya bụ ife ga-esie ya. Drop a comment. All right, over to you.
The Nnamdi Kanu issue is getting more knotty for the federal government. The House of Representatives ad hoc committee interfacing with relevant security agencies to reduce kidnapping, assassinations, and banditry in Abia communities has called for the release of Maazị Nnamdi Kanu. According to the committee, Kanu's release will serve as an incentive for the people in the southeast. Today, President Bola Tinubu does not have any dog in this fight, but he inherited this problem. And if he wants peace, he must reach an agreement with Nnamdi Kanu himself, with his agitation and everything, so that the federal government should reach an agreement. And if this man will be left off the hook, he should go and sin no more, but he must stop his agitation to carry out referendum or enemies to divide the country.
A resolution of this matter through dialogue. It's not every matter that you can resolve through court processes. Neither can you resolve every matter by going to war. So, for me, I do not want to foreclose the possibility of Nnamdi Kanu giving up this struggle. In fact, I see a lot of positives in his most recent actions. You know, Nnamdi Kanu did a handwritten letter cancelling the sit-at-home exercise on Mondays, and at any time for that matter. So I believe that there is an opportunity there for us to further seek a resolution of this matter through dialogue. For him to have gone to that extent, it shows that he too has seen that there's no sense in telling people to sit in their homes and beating up people for going to work on Mondays or 4 days. So perhaps this signals that Nnamdi Kanu could be available to make peace on this matter. And I remember that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu during his campaign said he was prepared to negotiate with aggrieved persons in the southeast. I want to believe that IPOD is an aggrieved body in the southeast. And since Ashwaju Tinubu promised during his campaign that he will be willing to dialogue with them, I think the president should put machinery in motion to put an end to Kanu's detention, because I believe a political solution is possible, and that is the point that Representative Obinna Agbocha from Abia State was making, that look, let us release this man. If he's released, we are sure that there will be peace in that region. I know Ashwaju Ahmed Tinubu is a peace-loving person. He's a man who believes a lot in dialogue. A lot of people thought he simply wanted to go to war in Niger. And you can see his most recent comments suggest that he's actually the one holding back his colleagues, heads of government in ECOWAS, that look, let's pursue peace on this matter. And he actually told the Americans that that is what he's committed to. So I think the possibility of dialogue should not be foreclosed. Both sides should be ready to dialogue. And if Kanu will give up armed struggle and his commitment to balkanizing Nigeria, I'm sure that the federal government will be ready to make peace with him. It's not an impossibility. Nobody can get up in America today and say that he wants to break up America and expect that he won't be resisted. The American law does not permit any of the federating units to try to get out of the union. You are going to be resisted. So, and that's how it is with our country too. Kanu has to give the agitation up in exchange for lasting peace.
Do you see this Kanu renouncing what he has been agitating for?
I think it will happen. It has happened already the way it is. Because like BKO noted, he wrote a note. It wasn't typed, handwritten, saying the Monday sit at home should be called off. And then they turned it into Empowerment Monday. IPOD empowering people in order to get back to their businesses. It's a huge departure from where we are coming from, where he had been talking consistently about ensuring that the Southeast breaks away from Nigeria. So we're beginning to see some good vibes, to use the language of the Gen Zs in what is happening now. If he has made this much commitment, then I think it's not impossible to talk him out of this completely. Because where he is now, there's very little he can do in terms of any agitation, and then also his position is changing. Even the people in the Southeast are calling for a breather. With the amount of money that they lose weekly to the sit-at-home, or which they have lost to the sit-at-home, it has become very clear that the agitation cannot be sustained. It can't. Otherwise, you are just going to ruin the whole of the Southeast economically. And as we know, they are some of the best businessmen and women around the country and even around the world.
Well, Nnamdi Kanu back down.
Well, the feelers we are getting seem to indicate that the man has had a change of mind. The weekly sit-at-home has not helped the people that he was fighting for, or been fighting for. Although the man in the bad boy in Finland is saying that those messages that are said to be coming from his principal are not But I think he has his own agenda. But you know what comes to my mind? I'm thinking about the struggle in Niger Delta in the days when you had men, and you had the faceless Jomo Bomo, being the spokesman for, it was just a fictitious name. The show of might didn't solve the problem in Niger Delta until an amnesty was extended to them, and you had a lot of militants, they repented. You know that Sintedeke now, who is a repentant militant, and he's doing he has huge investment in agriculture in Nasarawa State. So I think that we can use other means. I'm actually disposed to the idea of releasing Nnamdi Kanu, if it is confirmed that he's going to toe the path of peace, and is going to be an arrowhead of, maintaining peace and save of peace and all of that in his region. I also hope that his release would calm those who are giving excuse that because what they call Mochendo or is identity they think is being persecuted by the authorities. I think it's possible that they'll have a change of mind, and the bad boy in Finland, we have no excuse anymore. You can't say Nnamdi Kanu is the reason he's doing the nonsense that is causing to happen in the southeast.
So, Julie, ultimately moving forward, what do you advise this administration to do?
The situation has to be watched closely, and people will say, oh, there are more important things on Tinubu's plate at this time, but they should keep an eye on this development, and if there is an opportunity and a serious effort at dialoguing, then government should embrace it. There is no problem that is intractable. I believe that there have been other people across the world more difficult to manage than Nnamdi Kanu, that in the end they sat together, government sat with them and opted for peace. I believe that is a possibility. We saw what happened in South Africa, where even the people killing one another, there was a sort of power sharing that ensured that they were made vice president, and they stopped the black on black violence, very embarrassing black on black violence in South Africa at that time. Buthelez's men slaughtering ANC men. It came to an end at some point through dialogue, not through the usual cutting of people's necks. It was dialogue that prevailed in the final analysis. So those who always ask me, why are you asking for Kanu's release? I'm asking for his release on conditions. If it will agree not to take up arms against Nigeria anymore, if he will renounce his Biafra agitation in favor of a united Nigeria, I will be ready to carry placards and work for his release without the court exhausting the process. This is what I've seen happen in other countries, and I believe that it can happen in my country, even under the current administration. But Kanu has to lead the way. Kanu's people have to be the ones demanding for it and promising that they will take certain steps that will ensure that government does not regret releasing him.
And by that only then si when I saw any name no basinke tata una nugo ko sabato we kuru abalone e ko wazi ni no na nugo fe the as of lep body committee opte ije gbalia we fo bakamazi Nnamdi Kanu sineniz and don't free onye nke ọzọ na-ekwu na ọ bụ si ma Nnamdi Kanu bụ the leader of indigenous people of Biafra, it denounce the Biafran struggle na ọma take ikwe anything ọ bụla bụ agitation again. So mana ya bụ ife bụ asọ mejụ wee sị owe ebe mmadụ isi nọrọ onwe ya bụ alụ obiko wee nọ ebe ọ dị n'akwụkwọ mmadụ isi na ọ chọrọ ịnọrọ onwe ya owe ebe ọ bụ esin owe ebe ọ bụ alụ wee nye. So nke abụọ bụ ewe freedom of speech wee freedom of expression niile ihe ọbụla na-eme. Ị ga-afọsụ mmadụ ya ka gị na ya bụrụ nwanne ebe onye achọ ka gị na ya bụrụ nwanne. Nke ịtọ dị ka ibe ya bụ na ya bụ ife abụghị ife o doro anya na ya bụ ife abụghị ihe doro anya na egwu echenjigo maka mam ka ị ga-eji wee sị mmadụ na ọ ya denounce his vision and his way of life. What we find about culture be the people's way of life. Our culture na nke ndị mgbago abụ ndị ugwu Yoruba abụla ofu ife. Ịma nsị mmadụ ya rapụ his culture ya rapụ omume omenala fa na-eme fa ji wee bili. So ọ bụrụ ya bụ ife mụ na anụgo n'ife the House Committee member kwuru ka ife unu nwere ikwu ya Igbo nwe na-ege ntị gbasara maka ya bụ ife maka na agwaghị anyị na egwu echenjigo akwụnụ na aghọta. So ka ife unu nwere ike ikwu gbasara maka ya bụ ife fagwasị n'iru akwụkwọ a. Nke ọzọ dị ka ịbịa bụ dropụrụ na ya on the comment below. Alright, thank you and also stay tuned at Eastern News 24. Ka emesịa nọ n'ebe anyị.